Hello, today I'm going to be showing you how you can rearrange your product variant positions in Shopify using the Matrixify app. Now we're going to dive straight into the process, and to do so you need to head to your Shopify admin, which as you can see I'm currently in. And once here, head to the Matrixify app. Once in the Matrixify app, you then need to press New Export. Once on the New Export page, we can then first look to Format. And the format that I have selected currently is the Excel format to export in, which is perfect for what we would like to do. You can also export in the Matrixify CSV format if you prefer working with CSV files, but generally if not working with huge amounts of data, we do recommend exporting in the Excel format as that tends to be a lot easier to work with. Then moving on to the Sheets section of the page. As you can currently see, I have selected Smart Collections to be exported. However, for what we would like to do, we must export products. So go ahead and remove any sheets that you currently have selected, if any, and then from the Select Sheets drop-down, select to export products. Now for products, the only column groups that we need to select to export are basic columns and inventory variants. We can then go ahead and further refine our exported file by selecting only the minimum required columns we would need for updating our variant positions. And those columns for basic columns would be ID and handle. And for inventory variants, it would be variant ID, variant position, and variant SKU. Now, of course, you can go ahead and select other columns to be exported, especially any of the variant columns that will help you identify which exact variants you would like to change the positions for. But just so you know, the columns that I currently have selected are the minimum required columns for the update that we are about to make. You can then also go ahead and add filters to your export, and filters help you export only the specific products that you would like to update. You can add any filter you would like, if you would like to add a filter, of course. I'll also leave a link in the description of this video to our filters documentation for products, which will explain a little bit more about these filters, what values they require and how they work. However, in my case, I won't be adding a filter as I'm going to be exporting all of my products. But if you wish to only export specific products, then of course, yes, you can also add a filter to this export. Now, you don't need to change any of the export options in this case. You can leave them as they are. And if it all looks good, then you can go ahead and press export. And you can now see that my export has completed. And once completed, you can then go ahead and press download exported file to download the exported product. Once you've clicked on download exported file, you'll be able to see the file downloading, and to open it, just go ahead and click on it. And here I am in my exported file, and you can see my products have exported with their variants. Now you'll see there are products in my file with multiple rows and products in my file with one row. The products with multiple rows, for example, B-ring and honeypot, have multiple variants. You'll also be able to see this in the variant position column as well, as you'll see 1, 2 or 1, 2, 3, 4, a number basically for each variant. Now these are the products that we're going to be changing the variant position for. Now the remaining products in my file, such as B t-shirt, B jam or B butter, only have one variant or no variants at all, which would be the Shopify default variant for a product, in which case there's not really much point in changing a variant position for these products as there is only one variant. So what we're going to do in this case is we're going to remove these products from the file as we will not be editing them or updating them in this case. So I'll just go ahead and delete those. And now we are left with only the products we would like to update. And in your file as well, you should only leave the products that you want to update in your import file. Any of the products that you are making any changes to should not be included in the file. So once you've got a file with only the products you would like to update, we can now get to work on changing the variant positions. As you can probably tell, the variant position is controlled by the variant position column in the file. So for example, for honeypot, we have 1 and 2 as we have 2 variants. And for B-rings, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 as we have 4 variants. Now I'm going to start by changing the order for the variants for B-rings. And just for reference, this is what the B-rings product looks like in my Shopify admin. And this is the current order of the variants. So we have silver first, then we have rose gold, copper, and gold. Now I want to change gold to be second and copper to be first. So heading back to our file, as mentioned, I'd want gold to be in second position and copper to be first. I'd then want rose gold to be in the fourth position and silver to be in third. For honeypot, there isn't really much option, but I would like to switch positions for my variants. So to do so, I'll just add 1 here and 2 here. Now, to mention, the order does not have to be 1, 2, 3, 4 or 1, 2. You can really add any number here as long as they are in order. Matrixify will understand this. So for example, here I could add 5 and here I could add 7. And the positions would still be that the brown variant is first and the yellow variant is second. Now just one more thing to mention, if I were to add 5 here and import with 2 variant positions that are the same, what would happen is that Matrixify would import the variants in the order that they are in the file, in which case yellow would be first and then brown would be second. But in my case, I would like yellow to be second and brown to be first. So I'm just going to leave the positions as such. And once the variant positions have been changed to what you would like them to be, you can go ahead and save your file. In my case, I'm going to save my file as variant position update. You can really save your file as anything, but this is what I'm going to name my file. And once the file has been saved, you can then head back to the Matrixify app. Here I am in the Matrixify app, and this is where we're going to be uploading the file that we have just saved. To do so, press Add File, select the file you've just saved, and either drag and drop it into the app or press Open. You'll then see the file uploading. The app will analyze what's in the file, and once analyzed, you should be able to see that the app has correctly identified the file as products, which in this case it has, and my file only contained 2 products, and you'll see that the total says 2, or whatever product count you have in your file, that will also show there as the total. You don't need to change any of the import options for this import, and if all looks good and as it should, you can go ahead and press import. And once imported, your variant positions will now be updated, and we can also see this as well in our Shopify admin. So for example, going to the B rings product, we'll now be able to see that copper is first, gold is second, then silver, then rose gold. And that really would be it. That is how you can rearrange product variant positions in Shopify using the Matrixify app. Now we also have a written tutorial on this exact topic as well, and I will leave a link to this tutorial in the description of this video as well, so you can easily get to it. And this just basically goes over everything I've just talked about, just in written format, and you can definitely follow this guide instead or as well if you prefer. And if you have any questions, queries, concerns at all, or run into any issues, we would be more than happy to help. And you can contact us either via Slack or via email, and I will also leave a link to this page in the description of this video as well, so you can easily get to it. But other than that, that would be it from me, and that is how you can rearrange your product variant positions in Shopify using the Matrixify app.